first question is from Roman in Silesia, Poland.
Okay.
Dear Leonard, do you agree that any choice we make always belongs to consciousness, even if it seems that ego is controlling our lives completely? Is awakening a matter of choice? With love, Roman.
Okay, Roman, thank you for your question. I don't agree that every choice we make is coming from consciousness or of consciousness. So many of the choices we make are conditioned within us to make those choices, or they're choices based in fear. They're choices based in what we're supposed to do, what we should be doing, in order to be accepted or to prove ourselves. And this has very little to do with consciousness. This is to do with unconsciousness. So I would say that many of the choices we make arise out of unconsciousness. Now there is another level where everything is being orchestrated to awaken us out of our unconsciousness. And that sometimes includes choices that we're making for all the wrong reasons, but it turns out to be driven and motivated at another level. It's as if God is orchestrating everything in our lives to get us to wake up out of our slumber. But so few of us do awaken out of our slumber. But you mentioned choice, Roman, is awakening a choice. And there is a level, particularly in the early stages, where it is absolutely a choice. You have a choice to remain asleep, unconscious, lost in the mind, lost in your story. Or you have a choice to awaken. For me, that choice is at the very, very heart of free will. And again, if I speak from a more mystical dimension, I would say that God has given us a very fundamental choice, and God is waiting eternally for some of us to recognize this fundamental choice. And now this is God speaking. Beloveds, 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 which world do you choose to live in? Do you choose to live in the world of the present moment where I am the creator, says God, and I am that which is created? The truth of life, the present moment. Do you choose that world, or do you choose the world of your mind, which is actually a world of illusion, a world of separation, but at least there you get to be the creator, because you're creating your own illusory world and then you're condemned to live in it. So, for me, that's at the very, very heart of free will. It's as if God is saying, I've given you free will, I'm waiting to see how long it will take you to surrender it. And what does it mean to surrender your free will? Surrender to the will of God. It just means to be present with what is here, accepting the moment as it is. That's all it means. You're utterly relaxed in the moment of now, accepting this moment as it is. It doesn't have to be different according to your will. That's the deepest level. I'm not saying we should always function at that deepest level. We do have to function in the world of time. There are lots of opportunities to make choices, but it would be very helpful if we could remember or recognize that at the very heart of free will, at the very heart of our right to choose, is that fundamental choice. And those who choose the present moment as the home in which they choose to live, rather than the world of the mind, they will awaken very quickly. Because they're two different worlds. You're choosing to live in two different worlds. The world of the mind or the world of now. The world of the past and future or the world of now. The world of the ego or the world of God. Truth, love, presence, oneness. Take your choice. Make your choice. Which world do you choose to live in? Now, it depends where that choice comes from. If it comes from the mind and the ego who says, oh, that sounds good, I choose that, it's not going to work. But if it comes from some deeper level within you, let's say it's that longing for the present moment, for homecoming, for truth, for oneness, for love, if that's coming from the soul and not from your mind, then that's going to deliver you pretty quickly. But you have to be able to distinguish the two. You have to know the difference. And the truth is, once you've reached a certain level of presence, you're going to choose presence more and more for a very, very simple reason. It feels good. That's all. It just feels good. At the end of the day, I choose to be in the present moment, no matter how ordinary it is, rather than lost in the world of my mind, a world of illusion, no matter how extraordinary it promises to be. And it does promise to be that. It even promises you enlightenment in the future. It does. Follow these practices, read these books, go to these teachers. One day you'll be enlightened. And that's the great lie, the great trick of the ego. You're never going to be enlightened in the future. You can only be enlightened now. And it doesn't last beyond now. But the good news is that now doesn't go away. That's the good news. Now's always here, waiting for you, saying, I'm still here, says the flower or the tree or the cloud. I'm still here. Is your story that interesting that you ignore my invitation into the present moment? What could be so interesting about your story? Just because you get to be the star in your story, is that so appealing to be the star in your story? For most people the answer is yes, definitely. But as you become present, I hate to say this, but as you become more and more present, you become less and less a star in your story. And the irony, the great irony that so few people realize, is that if you awaken fully, there's very little left of you here. At least the you that you used to be. And a whole new dimension of you opens up and is here now. Who is here now? I don't know who I am, I just am. I'm no longer defined by my past, I'm just here. I'm no longer anxious about the future, I'm just here. And I'm very grateful for all the experiences I've been through in my life up to this point, because it enables me to play well in the world of time, but I don't have to get lost in the world of time. I can play well. If you're going to play in the world of time, play well. You don't need things like guilt, judgment, blame, not feeling good enough. Well, who wants to be a victim in your story? Do we have any victims in this? Do anyone whose story has them as a victim? Great, okay, that's good. You should own that. Nothing wrong with that. You just own it. I am a victim in my story. You make up a song and sing it. And I hope one day to prove that I'm good enough to no longer be a victim in my story. I'll try so hard to prove myself that I'm good enough, that I'm worthy of love. And then you find everyone loving you, but you can't feel it. Because deep down, the deeper level, you still feel unloved. Because that's the deeper level that comes from childhood. You still feel not good enough. Doesn't matter how many people are saying you're the best. Deep down at an unconscious level, you still feel not good enough. Until you can bring those hidden, limiting beliefs about yourself, about others, and about life, until you can bring them to consciousness and reveal them in the pure light of consciousness. Reveal them for what they are, which is untruths. None of it is true. It was put into you. Or you accumulated in some past life. I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm angry, it's their fault. I hate everyone hates me, or whatever. These things accumulate within us, either in this lifetime in childhood, or they come in from other lifetimes. But the good news is, none of it's true. It's not who you really are. It's who you've become. And many of you have heard me say this before. If you're willing to own, acknowledge and confess and reveal who you've become, it will very quickly bring up the truth of who you are. Okay.